Today we're going to be talking about mouth breathing. I have been a mouth breather my whole life. And then I read this book, Breathe, by James Nestor. And it completely reframed how I think about something as simple as air.
If you are not breathing right, you will always be sick. One of the problems with breathing is that our facial structure does not allow us to breathe in a healthy way anymore, and it did hundreds of years ago, and we know that from the skeletal record. You can see in a single generation of eating industrialized foods, things that were canned, things that were bottled, things that were baked, 50% of the population will have crooked teeth that didn't have it before. Crooked teeth are indicative of having a mouth that's too small for your face. What else is a problem with having a mouth that's too small for your face? You have an airway that's too small. You aren't able to breathe properly. Industrialized food elicits very little chewing. Our ancestors chewed for like 3-4 hours a day. The food that most people are eating, everything's soft. It takes a few bites, it's gone. There's no rigorous chewing, and if you don't get that early on in life, your skeleton does not develop properly, your musculature does not develop properly, and you grow a different kind of face that makes you much more susceptible to poor breathing habits.
Our ancestors had wide jaws, straight teeth, open nasal passages. Ours, smaller jaws, crooked teeth, tighter airways. Thank you, palate expander headgear and braces, and my bottom teeth are still crooked. And the biggest difference wasn't genetics, it was how we breathe.
The study was designed to be a 20-day study. It was actually 21 days. The first 10 days, we had our noses plugged. So with silicone, a little piece of tape over this. So we're only breathing through our mouths. And a lot of people say, oh, that's horrific. This is some jackass stunt. Well, if you look at 25 to 50% of the population is habitually breathing through its mouth. And a lot of kids are so plugged up, they're just breathing through the mouth all the time. So I don't view this as being some extreme stunt. I view this as lulling ourselves into a position that so much of the population knew. So we were calculating data three times a day, sleep data. I mean, you name it, oxygen, CO2, nitric oxide. We had a full lab set up in my house. And so the other 10 days of that was going to be almost entirely nasal breathing. Can't nasal breathe all the time, but majority of the time, we were just going to focus breathing through our nose. So if the pathway through which you breathe doesn't matter, then both of those data sets should be basically the same. They were so incredibly different. What I mean by that is, then the first couple hours, blood pressure through the roof. You know, blood pressure goes up and down throughout the day, but I'd never seen my blood pressure so high ever in my life. And then I went to bed and I started snoring, and I had not been snoring. So we took 2 weeks of baseline data, snoring an hour and a half. Then a few days, I was snoring 4 hours throughout the night. The other subject, Anders Olsen, was snoring even worse than me. We both got sleep apnea. So our sleep quality just went to the gutter. We were fatigued, anxious. I mean, everything. I could go on and on, but it was so dramatic and so drastic that it floored us. We were getting pretty concerned about our health about a week into it.
And no one tells you this. Not your dentist, not your doc, not your pediatrician. So I started taping my mouth at night. And I know it sounds extreme, but the change has been noticeable. My sleep feels deeper, my energy's steadier. I've tried just about every mouth tape out there, and after way too much trial and error and way too much money, I realized something kind of funny. The best one isn't even actual mouth tape. It's kinesiology tape, the same flexible tape you use in physical therapy. And it works better than most of the brands I've wasted my money on. Simple, cheap, effective. And here's what's really happening when you tape your mouth and breathe through your nose. You're activating nitric oxide, a natural molecule your body makes that opens your airways, increases oxygen delivery, and helps your lungs work more efficiently. It's basically your built-in respiratory upgrade. Since I started, my breathing feels calmer, my jaw tension's gone. It's not a miracle, it's biology working the way it's supposed to. If something as basic as how we breathe can change our structure, our energy, our sleep, what else are we overlooking?